Once you can do the taxi foot swap easily, you can work on foiling foot swaps. We start with the Toeside to Heelside switch, as this is often required after a jibe and it's the easiest swap for most people. Ride upwind at a medium speed. This should keep line tension high. Start with the board fairly low. Steer the kite from 45 degrees up towards 12 very slowly. As the kite reaches 1, you can push on the back foot briefly to get the board climbing a little. Next, bring your back foot forwards. Normally, this would sink the board, so you must also start pulling in the bar so the kite lifts most of your weight. While still supported by the kite, place the new back foot. This should be completed before the kite reaches 12. Steer the kite down enough to keep foiling. Let's look at that riding the other way. My first attempts at a foiling foot swap went a bit like this. The moment you lift the back foot, you're applying weight too close to the nose and the board dives. The primary way to avoid this is to lift most of your weight using the kite. In light wind or when slightly underpowered, the kite will support your weight for longest if it is slowly creeping up towards 12. Steer the kite up gently. As you lift the back foot, gradually pull in the bar. Keep creeping the bar closer as you swap stance. After swapping stance, dive the kite enough to keep foiling. In strong wind, or if more overpowered, the kite can easily lift all of your weight. So, in stronger wind, make sure the kite climbs less, and make sure to bring in the bar very slowly. Being able to support your weight with the kite is so essential, you must practice this skill in isolation. You can practice by seeing how long you can lift your back leg while foiling. If you don't support your weight with the kite, you won't be able to lift for long. With the kite support, you should be able to lift your back leg for more than a second. Ride upwind with good speed. Get your kite climbing slowly. During the kite's climb, lift the back leg and then start creeping in the bar. Pull in the bar only enough that you feel almost weightless. As you lose speed, replace your back leg and dive the kite. If you master hanging from the kite like this, you will have much more time to swap stance. There are many mistakes that can prevent you from supporting your weight effectively. If you don't have a climbing kite, or you don't pull in the bar enough, the kite won't support enough of your weight. If you steer up too quickly, or bring in the bar too quickly, the kite can easily lift all of your weight. If you start bringing in the bar before moving your back foot, you will feel a jolt from the kite. With the back foot still placed, you are edging against the kite. Initial riding direction is also important. If you are riding downwind, you lose line tension and the kite will not support you. If you ride too far upwind, you'll be leaning hard and it's difficult to maintain balance. Having more foiling speed while riding slightly upwind will make the kite's support last longer. Having less foiling speed gives less time supported by the kite, but it does reduce the chances of a high-speed impact with your foil. Another factor that affects how long you have to switch is whether the board is climbing or descending. If you begin the swap with the foil high and level, you don't have too long before touching down. But if you start fairly low and with the board climbing, you have a lot more time before touching down. You use the kite support in either case, but it makes a big difference. You can see that a climbing start gives you a much longer window for swapping stance. Start low, push down on the back foot to climb. You then lift the back foot after the board starts climbing. You then bring in the bar, but because you're already climbing, you can bring in the bar more gradually, which extends the foot swap window. Foiling foot swaps can be a challenge. The following incremental steps will reduce your risks massively. Step 1. Practice lifting your back leg while foiling. Try to lift for more than a second. Step 2. Try taxi foot swaps but with more speed. At this speed, the rider is actually partially foiling and partially taxiing. Then you should be able to foot swap and then foil away almost immediately after. Step 3. Try foil foot swaps low and slow. With this low speed and height, you will end in a taxi. But that's okay because it's a small drop, so the touchdown should be gentle. This step should give you the confidence to initiate a swap while foiling. Step 4. Next, you can push down on the back foot a little for a climbing start. You may still touch down on the water, but it should be brief. Step 5. After this, add a little more speed plus a bump on the back foot, and you should have ample time to swap. In all examples, the kite support was used. The amount of movement you make during a swap is also important. When learning, a large movement is likely to result in you placing your weight incorrectly. You can improve your chances by reducing the movement required. Simply narrow your stance and pre-turn your upper body towards the new stance. Now you only need to make a tiny movement during the swap. The Heelside to Toeside swap uses the same principles covered so far. Start low for safety, use a narrow stance to reduce movement, foil slightly upwind and maintain speed, steer the kite up very slowly. As the kite climbs, give a small bump on the back foot so the foil starts climbing. Bring the back foot forwards. While both feet are near the nose, gradually pull in the bar to support most of your weight. Place the new back foot while still supported by the kite. Let's look at that riding the other way. You may find swapping to Toeside more difficult. partly because you're turning away from the kite, but also because you can't afford to lift too much of your weight by mistake. Because it's a bit harder to hook your toes on the foot strap, if the kite lifts too much, you will lose the board. To avoid this, make sure to lift most of your weight, not all of it. Then you will retain some grip on the deck. Strapless foot swaps have the same challenge. If you lift too much of your weight with the kite, you lose grip on the board. If you lift most of your weight only, you will keep grip under your toes. Other than that difficulty, strapless swaps use the same technique detailed previously. If you want a challenge, there is a faster version of the foiling foot swap. In the fast version, you don't rely on lift from a high kite to feel weightless. Instead, you get your body climbing quickly, and this makes you feel weightless for a fraction of a second. If you're quick and accurate, you can swap in this time. You start low, then kick down firmly on the board, especially the back foot, to pop your body up. Just after your body climbs, you will naturally feel weightless, and that's your tiny window in which to swap stance. This is challenging, of course. To slow it down a bit, use a weaker pop-up and some support from the kite. Even though fast swaps are challenging, they are well worth learning as they prepare you for later kite foil tricks. Access the Kite Foil playlist for more tutorials. Good luck learning to kite foil.